What's going on, everybody? It's Curtis King of Curtis King TV. Go Lakers. Now, many of you know I just released my brand new YouTube training course, GrowToKing.com. And instead of bombarding the channel with a bunch of different commercials about it, you guys know it's already out. If you don't know, it is at GrowToKing.com. What I want to do is give you a preview of lesson 1, just so you kind of see the kind of stuff we cover, as well as answer some frequently asked questions that I get all the time from aspiring YouTubers. As always, I hope this video brings you a ton of value. I will see some of you soon in the course, but until then, check this out. Peace. Aspiring YouTubers, my name is Curtis King of a YouTube channel called Curtis King TV, and you are watching the GrowTube course by Curtis King. When I first got into YouTube, I didn't have any damn idea what I was doing. I mean, I knew how to upload videos, I knew how to start a channel, but I didn't necessarily know how to grow. So I had to invest a lot of money into consultations. I had to invest a lot of hours into learning this world. But once I did, not only was I able to grow my following from 900 subscribers to over 165,000 subscribers in less than a few years, but I was also able to transfer those skills over to different platforms, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Twitter, because once you find a following on any social media platform, it is so much easier to transfer that energy over to other platforms. But you gotta learn the ins and outs, you gotta learn the basics. That is my responsibility. We poured so much energy into this course. So by the end of this course, you will be so knowledgeable about YouTube, it won't matter all the changes that are occurring. So the purpose of this first video is to give you sort of a course overview and to answer some frequently asked questions that I'm going to take care of my iPad. First and foremost, let me tell you a bit about myself and why I even started a YouTube channel, because the first question is, why did I choose YouTube? Of all the platforms that I could have shared my videos, why YouTube? Well, it's free, it was easy, and I had been used to using YouTube as a music producer and as an artist. And mostly my relationship with YouTube wasn't really doing the YouTube thing. Like, I wasn't doing vlogs, I wasn't really doing the things that you see people getting popular off of. I was just uploading my music initially, but that didn't really move the needle, so I kind of left my YouTube dormant around 2012 and 2013. Not until 2015, when I actually had a burning purpose and a burning passion to share information to help independent rappers and music producers, did I really start to go hard on YouTube. And in the beginning, a lot of people are concerned about, well, you know, I'm dedicating all this time, can I actually make a living? I'm gonna give you all the information that you need to know in terms of when I actually started to make money, because I didn't actually start to make money until I really understood the back end of YouTube and really how to use it to your advantage. All the stuff that I'm going to share with you within this course. So why YouTube? It was free, it was easy, and the audience that I was looking to share information with were being underserved for the type of information I wanted to give. I wanted to focus on mental health and hip hop. And so when I started to deliver it early on, people latched on pretty fast because I filled a void. So it's important to actually have somewhat of a passion or a purpose for being there on YouTube, as opposed to everybody else who's just uploading videos. Next question, how long did it take me to grow my YouTube subscribers from 900 to over 165,000? It took about 2 or 3 years, right? It took about 2 or 3 years of consistently doing uploads, and I'm gonna tell you my schedule of uploading and how I've gone through different schedules to kind of test it out. But honestly, when I first started, I was going a little bit crazy in the beginning, and I don't suggest you do the same thing, but I was doing about 5 to 6 videos a week. There's things you wanna pay attention to, like the YouTube algorithm we're gonna talk about, that kind of discouraged me from doing that on a consistent basis. But in the beginning, I was so filled up with passion and I was burning so much with getting this information out. It didn't really matter to me that the first few videos weren't getting a lot of views. It didn't matter to me that the YouTube algorithm worked in a certain way. I just wanted to get my information out there. And although that was therapeutic for me, it wasn't the best thing for the long haul, because you will get burnt out. So in terms of how long it really took me to grow that following, I say about 2 to 3 years. I mean, I had a few different streaks in which I did, like, I think 100 videos in 100 days, and I was going crazy. You don't have to do all this stuff, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a much better strategy than I had. But about 2 to 3 years it took me to grow it. But keep in mind, a lot of that time was me just trial and error and trying to learn different strategies and really just throwing stuff at the wall hoping it sticks. Thankfully, after this course, you won't have to be doing that. Is it too late to start a YouTube channel? Absolutely not, my friend. If you feel like you have information that you would like to share with an audience, and not even just like to, but you're burning with passion passion to do it, this is still one of the biggest platforms to get your ideas out there. And like I said, it's free traffic based upon if you understand the SEO, if you understand using the right keywords and things that we're going to talk about in this course, you'll see it's never too late. You don't have to find success for your entire industry for you to have success. You just got to find success for yourself. Once you find it for yourself, you'll understand that it's not about trying to be the exception to the rule. You just got to figure out what works for you. The next question, how dedicated do I need to be become a successful YouTuber? This question is really about expectations. What do you expect, or what do you want from this particular experience? Do you want to have a channel that has a gang of views? Do you want to have a channel that has a strong community that it really doesn't rely on views, but really relies upon having a healthy and really vibrant engagement? You got to figure out what kind of a channel experience you want to have, and I think it's important that you establish that from the beginning, because what you do and how you strategize your videos is going to be completely different if you're doing it for views and if you're doing it just for a strong community. I went for the strong community because for me, I looked at it and I said there's a lot more value in having people that actually are serious about their career, because if I do present products like this one right here, the YouTube course, they are serious about it and they're going to jump to the opportunity because they want to be surrounded by things that are going to ultimately help their career. So how dedicated do you need to be? It depends on the level of success that you want to have. This can be such an addictive process. I mean, it was for me. You don't put up 1,500 plus videos, counting my videos and channels that I've contributed videos to, unless this becomes somewhat of an addiction, and that's what it was for me. But for me, success wasn't so much just in the views and the numbers. It was really in how do I actually help people. And when you're centered in such a humble goal like that, you don't worry about trying to clout chase or go after the videos that are super clickbait. Not saying I never did no clickbait, but I'm saying you don't go chasing that kind of stuff, and it becomes a much more enjoyable experience, to be honest with you. Next question, do I have to buy expensive equipment to become a successful YouTuber? You may be surprised at this answer, but I'm gonna say in the very beginning, no, you do not have to buy expensive equipment. Once again, it's about your expectations, and it's really about the quality of your content. When I first started off, I had an iPhone 6. Now, this is not iPhone 6, but I had an iPhone and I had an hollow clip lens that I used to basically get a wider angle. And then I also had a Rode microphone that I attached straight to the headphone jack. Now, they obviously got rid of the headphone jacks for the new iPhones, but most of your smartphones have cameras that people are going to be able to say, you know what, that's digestible for me. And high quality content, I remember Gary Vee saying this, high quality content is not just content that is in HD. I mean, obviously you do want to have your HD content, but high quality content is more so dealing with the content than the presentation of it. Now, as you get better at this, and as you become more addicted to it, and as you become more of a YouTube viewer yourself, and you start to really dive into other channels, you'll want to see yourself in another light. And for me, when I made these investments, like into my Lumix GH5, which I'm using right now, it was a no-brainer, because at that point I was like, I have become so good at this. It's almost like wearing out a pair of shoes until you outgrow them. And I outgrew my iPhone situation. I outgrew the microphone that I put into the headphone jack. But even then, like, I waited until I really became so quality at this that it called for it. But as you go along this process, you're gonna make the upgrades that are necessary. But don't feel like you have to go out there and buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment. There's some inexpensive things that I'm gonna share with you when we get into that section about how you can start up a YouTube channel without having to worry about buying super expensive things. I mean, the iPhone's not the cheapest thing in the world either, but this thing gets it done. But for my first 200 videos, I wasn't using a high quality camera. But as time went on, as I started to grow my channel, as I started to build up more income, I bought the necessary upgrades, and then the channel went along with it in terms of upgrading as well. So in the very beginning, do you need expensive equipment? No. Does it hurt? Obviously not. The next thing I want to cover is really your mindset when approaching YouTube. And I wish somebody would have had this conversation with me. I've gone through many different courses, and none of the courses talk about this, what I'm getting ready to talk to you right now about. Having the proper mindset when approaching YouTube is probably the most important thing. I don't know what industry you're in. I assume there's more so rappers and producers that are watching this particular course, but depending on your industry, it is important that you understand YouTube is there as a free traffic source, ultimately to your business. Do not make YouTube your home. YouTube is merely one representation or one face that leads ultimately to your business. Please do not forget that. So many people make the mistake of making YouTube a home, and then they get their channels deleted deleted, or some rules change and maybe their video content had children in it. And as you can see, YouTube within the last year has made a lot of changes for content that involves children, to protect children, I should say. And so with that said, it's important that you always look at it like this is free traffic, but things can always change. So the proper mindset with YouTube, make sure that as you're putting up this content, don't become so invested in the comments, so invested in the views that you lose sight of the fact that this is a free traffic source. You don't have to pay for YouTube. Free traffic source ultimately to be delivered to your business. And if you don't have a business, well, you want to start thinking about how can you monetize this and what do you ultimately want to do. If you set up shop just on YouTube, understand this is not your platform. It's your channel, but it's not your platform. And if they want to get rid of you, they can, because it's their business. It doesn't make them bad people. It's just because their business is going to always come before your business. So keep that in mind. The next thing I want to cover, let's talk about the bigger picture with YouTube, especially with YouTube content and growing your actual YouTube channel. Roberto Blake, who's a really popular and really great guy to go ahead and check out on YouTube, gives out 3 different categories that he categorizes YouTube videos. The first is hero content. The second is how-to content. And the third is hub content. Now, hero content is like more cinematic type of videos, those inspirational videos, those videos with the music in the background and somebody's doing a speech or something, just really cinematic and just stuff that's appeasing to the eye. That's one type of YouTube video. Obviously, many different types of videos fall underneath that, but that's one sort of bigger umbrella of a category. The second category, how-to content. Obviously, we know about that, whether it's how-to in cooking, how-to in making music, how-to in building up something. How-to content is so dominant and so important. The third category, hub content. This is content that is more so based for your very niche demographic. Vlogs. How many vloggers do you know out there that have such a dedicated fan base in which they know so much about that vlogger's life, where they've traveled, the kind of things that they eat, their family, their friends, all that kind of stuff? That stuff is hub content. And so as you approach YouTube, understand that you only have to make a video that falls in one of those 3 categories. And even if you tried to get outside those categories, it will be really difficult because most videos do fall into those 3 categories. So as you're approaching this, try to think of, what is my most dominant thing? Like, what do I want to do? Do I want to share my life? Hub content is probably for you. Do I want to share how-to? How-to content is probably there for you. Or are you somebody who's really crazy with the camera, you're really crazy with the color grading, and you want to just show off your style and what you do as a video editor or whatever you're doing? Then obviously hero content would be the best for you. But what I suggest is that you find one to be your center focus and then dabble into the other ones as you go along. Some channels, they have grown tremendously, even bigger than me, by just being how-to channels. I kind of dabble between the 3, but I think mostly I'm known for my how-to videos. That being said, thank you for joining me. This is going to be an exciting experience. Once again, I am Curtis King of Curtis King TV. See you in the next lesson.